Welcome back to the David Watson podcast. Today, I had a very short podcast with Howard. Howard wrote a book during lockdown, during the pandemic, and it's really just best to let him describe it. And just to give you a little heads up, a little teaser, Howard will be coming back on Wednesday, the 14th of February, to give us some more insight into the book, maybe some poems, and recite some of the words that he wrote. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Howard was an amazing guy with lovely energy. Hello, welcome to the David Watson podcast. Thank you for joining me. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm H.L. Howard. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And just for context to everyone else, we've already spent about 10 minutes talking about coffee with great
Yes,
excitement. And
yes, and now we have the same color of shirt. Did you
yeah,
get the memo of this is Friday?
we are energetically very in tune. Same color tops, same passion for coffee. We could almost be brothers from another area.
Yeah,
So, tell everyone about the book you wrote.
yeah. A journey must be taken playlist. It's actually inspired by two things. It's a contemporary romance book. I have the background of the pandemic time. You know, during that time, I work from home. Um, all the environment was kind of uh, distress, lonely. There's so many sadness coming in, and I accidentally stumbled into a video which called the tarot, and with my zodiac sign, which I am a Taurus. I listened to it. I found that I was shocked as to hear what the tarot reading describe is what's happening in my life, my personal life, especially on my corporate life. At that time, there are 20% of unemployment rate and layoff coming everywhere. So I I followed it. I found out that even more resonated with my life. And I feel like there's a magic power of the tarot or oracle, if you will say, those kind of prediction, those kind of energy reading from your mind, from my mind, and even far away. So I feel like compelling to write some kind of story to tell the magic power of tarot. That's the one factor to inspire me to say, let me do something for it.
Yeah,
It's also I feel like an invisible hand that guide me to say, hey, this is something like you could be started, you could evolve, you could have this way twist and turn, and you could lead you to success. So that's the first factor, is major factor. Another factor is I like to watch the joke, especially during the pandemic time. Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon is
yeah,
my show I watch, and he used a set of a song to tell a joke, like the how to people to take the vaccine, everything works, and it make me laugh. And during the time when I try to think about to write the book, I think about what would be unique. I would write it different ways. Other romance book, those you know have the my uniqueness. So I added a few factors in addition to the regular romance book, like the taboo story, with to be couple have the obstacles between them, like age gap, wealth gap, social norm. So I added another layer of a playlist as a love language playlist, like baby talking, crypto-like language. And that because of that, it is causing a twist and turn, and a lot of times there is man control factor over there, and ultimately, the magic power of tarot is something have a main storyline leads to this twist and turn. Sometimes people think this book is about the epic story about the self-discovery. Some people call it as the pandemic scar literacy, but I call it as co-creation with universe energy.
Okay. No, I understand that. I understand that. Many years ago, probably about 10, I self-published a book on reincarnation. And I've always said that when I wrote that book, it was like someone was telling me what to write. It was, I can't describe it as anything other than being guided to write a book and what to write and how to write it. And there's definitely parts of that book that felt like somebody was. I describe it as somebody talking to me, but that's only because I can't explain what it felt like when it was happening. Because
Right,
it's to do a
right.
mean.
I kind of have had the similar experience like that. I always hear, celebrity and experienced author, like you, tell the story in a little voice on the head to remind something. But in my experience, there is a little another layer for it. I use there are 87 tarot reading as a reference. It's a physical reading. It's free. It's in the social media. You can do a search title, found that. So it's not only like I hear that the little voice in the mind, but I also say the physical evidence uh, as the uh, invisible hand to contribute to my story. I would say it's every twist and turn, someone is inject the idea into tarot reader and put that kind of instruction over there to have the twist and turn to guide the story into the all the dramas.
Yeah. So the book, putting the book to one side, this kind of energy that you and I have both talked about, that you and I, in our own way, have experienced. When did you first become aware of it?
Uh, I I was really in the pandemic, and before that, if you say I'm gonna be an author, I would say I'm gonna be crazy. I had a scientific background. I'm trained engineer. I have three masters. Um, I always look at things from the scientific point of view. If there is solution, there got to be reason. 1 + 1 = 2. That kind of thing. But during the pandemic, I have a lot of time, quiet time, to stay at home, look at the video. As I say, like one day when I was driving to the office on that time, I turned on the tarot reading, and it was talk about some office drama, maybe layoff, and they said you are going to be okay, divine with you, you are protected. I didn't pay much attention, but once I get the office, like the whole team was called into the office, and someone come in to say, "Oh, there is a rework. We have 10% of people let it go." And I was immediate to say, "Oh yeah, this is what they talk about." And I guess I was in the office. I'm gonna be okay. Now, not that I got a surprise of that, but also my mind is like, why this has happened? Why my story, my energy was predicted 1 day or 2 day before it happened. What is the magic of it? So because I have like engineer mind, I always try to figure out why. That is might be something get me into the trouble. I mean, like going through all
Yeah.
the trouble in the story. But I'm happy for that.
So, what when you started to discover it, when you started to feel it, feel this energy, did your awareness of the world change?
I'm not aware anything like I said before. I don't even know. I have I never touched the topic of tarot or the oracle, and those kind of prediction. I don't believe it. I think that everything is accidentally, leads to some kind of outcome. I don't think there is a scientific uh, basis,
Hmm.
right? I Before the pandemic, I really don't have no idea. And sometimes I try to avoid those topics.
Yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. But it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it divides. It either unites people or it divides them.
Um, yeah, later on, I did some research. There is a 2008 Pew Research Center public survey, and it was the result is 60% of the America in the state who have some kind of new age belief, which sometimes they touch kind of beliefs like the ever living thing have the spirit. They kind of have some kind of believe the power of meditation, uh, and agree, or maybe they don't object to the idea of incarnation. Um, but I think that yes, sure. But truly, when you describe this energy, there is no scientific theory to talk about it to scale it. Like
Mm.
the math we made today,
Yeah,
we immediately like the click. Maybe shared it is the same. That kind of like accidentally needs a couple factor. You and I, we both like coffee in the morning. Those 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 are energy are are transmuted across the space and time, and we don't have scientific theory to describe it. We need to describe those energy, those kind of like a scale of energy. I think tarot is the way they use um, they use like they use this a set of cards to describe the scale of the energy,
yeah,
like the scale of the mind of like a pain. They call it the sword energy. They call it the one as passion, scale of passion. Where is your state in mind? And they also talk about the love, like your heart space, as cup energy. A lot of things I think even it's ancient culture, but there are definitely something over there. Our scientific community must advance to understand it. It's like a UAP, right? It's unidentified aerial phenomenon.
yeah.
It's there. we cannot explain all the what happening over there, but our science must advance to really understand, describe, or utilize it, benefit from it. And the one of benefit I would say is potentially it's a little scary. I think if we can use programming language to really to describe it, to apply it, and potentially could use to assign the feeling to the robot.
Yeah.
Have the robot to communicate with each other, detect the feeling, to avoid conflict. Uh, uh, I that's probably next stop something later on I would want to venture to working on.
It's it's funny because it's like you said when you and I first came on straight away we just started just chatting like we've been friends for years, you know,
Right.
based off the color of our the sweaters we're wearing and the fact that we somehow immediately started talking about coffee as if we already knew each other. And
Right.
sometimes you do get these unexplained connections with people that make if you try to make sense of them, it doesn't make sense because you can't put a scientific analysis or an equation or an experiment to it. But you and I, from the off, we were talking for 10 minutes when I said, hang on, we got to stop so that I can actually start the podcast. Because we just started talking like long lost friends who just bumped into each other in a coffee shop.
Right. This is I would say it's fated.
Yeah.
You marry me for this book. It seems random. A set event finally leads to an outcome. This is one of my thing in my book. Journey must be taken playlist. So yes, it's. Does fate bring people together? Yes, I not only believe so. In my book, I describe the way the character come to each other. So I believe, my book describe many of way for people. One of many of way to get together. But there are three ingredients for the true love get together. Uh, no matter love knows no boundary, such as age gap, gender, wealth gap, um, you know, obstacle, social norm. His, if you look at the human history, a lot of books describe the same theme. But I think that in my book describe the three ingredients for true love to get together. And the first ingredient is they have to be a mutual wish fulfillment, not a one-sided story, like both longing for each other. And secondly, it's love writing to star. The people say love writing star. It's simple to be very uh, modern, the slogan, but it's actually have a different hidden meaning of it could be read out by tarot or oracle reading, oracle card with their own zodiac sign, zodiac sign corresponding to a star system.
Yeah.
So, so you can pick up your loved ones love energy in your zodiac signs reading, and you can see your energy show up in your loved one's zodiac signs reading. If this condition happen, that's second ingredient there. And the third ingredient is the co-creation with the spirit and divine, or if you say self-discovery. with the third party co-create with something, right? With passion project, with one thing, traveling, writing a book, writing a poem. You two love one with the universe energy. So in my book is actually tried down to give you some physical evidence. Is working the way as hierarchy deploy a playlist. Um, and protagonist write the story down and share with hero, and the divine spirit broadcast the instructions through the tarot reader
Yeah.
and have the reading over there. So this is like a whole circle over there. Not only we talk about, we have some idea. I try to build up some kind of a circle over there.
Yeah. But when it came to, because you wrote the book during lockdown, um, what was your process for writing?
um, I really spend a lot of time to listen to tarot reading,
Hmm.
because of like I kind of a lot of time during the pandemic. All the tarot reading give you the different perspective of your what I think that my energy or my thinking idea. Each day I would have so many ideas, so many things to deal with it. But even each one thing, one initiative, one idea, they have different perspective of reading. Tarot reading is like a cheerleader, right? They read out your energy, but they give you some kind of possible outcome. They're not saying you have to do that. That's where the intuition come in to say, oh yeah, I know. This character and that character, I can arrange in the way. What are the advantage? What are the disadvantage? What the setting would be? How does it apply to compare to other book? It's kind of try and error. Um, I wrote even though I wrote it, did a few iteration. It's like what I do in my job was scientifically do iteration. I
Yeah.
did the um, uh, uh, 8 draft before I actually have one draft. I feel like confident that this is what I did, and so I get into the next phase of editing process.
Yeah. So, but how did you? I talk to authors, and I like to just have a chat about the process of writing, because when I was writing, I had to be really disciplined and set a time out, because I wasn't very good at, like, some people can just, when I feel like writing, I can sit down and write. Some people always enjoy writing, so they can just write away. Whereas I had to set a time in my diary every week where I would sit down and write regardless. And some days that was really successful, and other days it wasn't. What was your process?
It's kind of like a weird. For me, it's on the daytime. I have my regular office work, um, and I I listen the lunch break or the spare time. I listen to a lot of tarot reading, and sometimes I don't have any idea. Sometimes I have uh, idea, especially when I walk on beach. At the same times listen to those tarot readings, and I found that that's why I said it's resonated me. Is the sometimes tarot predict that, hey, this week you have a gift that coming for your zodiac sign. I'm saying, what kind of gift? Like, and when the time comes, I found out my mind is filled with idea. So I would mostly I would at the end of the day, like almost reach to 11 or 12 o'clock midnight. I turn on some uh, music and just starting to write. So that's how pandemic. There are 2 or 3 years. I think that I spend the most of the time to continue to write.
Yeah. So, how has this helped you in your own life?
um, yeah, it's my pandemic did a lot of damage to everybody's life, and I found myself uh, had the same experience. A lot of difficulty and sadness and heartbreak, broken. But I think that one thing I would attribute to, as I said again, the power of tarot. It's like you have a team of the cheerleader who is free. Anytime that's there, you turn it on and someone is talking about, hey, Taurus, and like you have some wonderful things going on. Why not? If there's benefit, you always want to hear about it, right? If there's danger, someone would tell you, hey, there's potentially something will happen, and you pay attention on it. As a matter of fact, like last week, someone said, hey, you pay attention to the shop you like when you're working on the kitchen, and you may have a card. So I kind of like 2 days ago, I have a card on my finger, like
Yeah.
um, so that kind of story. But I found out, there is a power in their words. So when they say that something like you are divinely guided, you will be successful, and angel is always with you. Um, I feel like for increase the sense of the confidence,
Yeah.
uh, and secondly, it's let you to look at your life from the totally different point of view. You're like a flying eagle to look at the yourself is walking on the ground. You can say 1 week, 2 week, even like a couple months, a year ago, year forward, what would it looks like. So that's where it gave me confidence to say this book is unique.
Hmm.
This book will be a success, and this book will reach a milestone.
Yeah.
Um, Yesterday, I received an email to inform me I will be the book award either favorite or the winner asked me to go to the award ceremony.
Well,
Uh,
congratulations.
yeah, thank you. I'm very excited about that. But as I said again, I have that confidence on this, not because uh, of the I spend time to write. I think that I like in addition to regular romance book, which I respect and read some of them. But I think this book I use two extra layer, you know, playlist as kind of imaginable. When your song have your name of some and singer or band of songs. So there are two parts. With a set of playlists, you literally can derive, expand your reader's imagination for
Yeah.
it, give you a lot of space. That's first. And secondly, I feel like I'm doing co-create with universal energy. It's not my work, it's part of their work. The different twist and turn, they put their thought on it. It might be crazy, but I want
Why
to
not?
use in my reader to say, this is what I observe, this is what I want to write.
No, I like that. I like that. And just lastly, because I know you have another meeting to go to, and I want to make sure you have plenty of time. Um, So this is a very random question, and I normally ask it differently, but I'm going to ask it based on coffee. So if you could be using your imagination and the will of the universe, if you could be anywhere in at any time, where would you be? Who would you be drinking coffee with? And how would you make the coffee?
um, can you say it again in
So,
another way?
okay, so I ask a similar question, but because you and I were on coffee earlier, I'll ask it based on coffee, and then I'll ask you the question. So you can be any time in history, any time you want to be in history. Who are you going to be drinking coffee with, and how are you going to make the coffee?
Uh, Thanks for asking this question. Um, remember, like I write the journey must be taken playlist. It's even though it's a contemporary romance book that happened in pandemic time. I always want to in that specific setting to inject the jokes, fantasy, and have the optimistic mood, and give the people faith to say how faith could impact the life. In contrast with that depressed time, sadness, all those environment. But I think if I want to, I did that. If I want to have a coffee with anyone or fewer people's, or first I want to have coffee to Shakespeare. Uh, I was in London and sitting in the Shakespeare Theatre like a few years ago, which is in Times Bank of the
Yeah.
Time. I always wonder, like how could he wrote the Romeo and Juliet is such a like dramatic opposite drama over there. It did it happen in his real life? What did it happen in the society? Did he hear some similar things happen? And how did think about using that poetic language to describe instead of write in detail? I like I thought about it a lot of time, like how that do um, have this contrast. That's one of the things in my book over there. And another person I want to have coffee with is Mark Twain,
Yep.
a U.S. author, which is in my state. We have a statue on my main street, and his writing style is witty and short, but make people fun, like laugh. All
Yeah.
right, I like that the style. Um, and you know, last person, I think there are so many persons that I also want to have coffee, with all the character or probably creator of the Forrest Gump. Uh, I'm big fan. Not only big fan, I think that my character I want to portray as the Forrest Gump in the pandemic time.
Okay.
Uh, this character uh, is not smart. Uh, was in the difficult situation. Always take a leap of faith. Someone tell him what to do, especially like a Torah reader or the playlist tell him what to do, and he wouldn't it, and he bumped it,
It'd be
and
interesting,
he
wouldn't it, to have Forrest Gump, Mark Twain, and Shakespeare around a coffee table talking.
And finally, in the twist of term, he got his wish fulfilled. So that is what I would really want to have a coffee with him.
Perfect. That's excellent. Thank you very much for your time. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, David. I'm really enjoyed to talk to you.
And that was Howard. Thank you very, very much for listening. As I said at the beginning, Howard will be back on in a couple of weeks. And as always, everybody that listens, thank you very much. Wherever you are, whatever you believe, be blessed. Take care.